I have been very passionately building up on this setup. This video is going to be helpful for you if you need to understand how to manage connections between multiple laptops and multiple monitors. So you don't have to keep plugging the cables in and out between them. It's gonna be fun. Let's start, shall we? For the sake of video, let's take it all apart. Might as well take this opportunity to clean this room. So we have a Dell and one HP as two monitors, both of them 24 inches. The Dell monitor is more of a professional kind, so you not only get the vertical bar to move it up and down, so you also get the option to rotate it for a more vertical coding kind of workflow. I personally don't feel much comfortable with the vertical aspect ratio. Now that I have spent quite some time working on the more 16:9 aspect ratio. That's some philosophical bomb for you right there. We also have this 44 inches 4K TV. Let's do a quick refresher on what is a pixel. The display on your monitors or your TVs or even your phones, they are divided both horizontally and vertically. The cute little small box between these cuts, that's a pixel. The resolution of a display is basically the number of horizontal and vertical subdivisions a display has. A 4K has a resolution of 3840. which is 4 times a full HD monitor, that is 1080. So this TV technically accommodates 4 of these 2 monitors we have here in terms of pixels. And the more pixels we have means a better multitasking. But I certainly don't recommend using a TV as your primary monitors. As a secondary monitor for some media or some gaming, I think it's a great option. We have 2 laptops here, one for the professional side and the other is my personal one, and this is a thing of beauty. This was the first thing I bought for myself with my own salary. So I absolutely unapologetically love it. It's powered by Intel Core i7 processor. We have a 24GB RAM, a GTX 1650, and in terms of storage, we have a 1TB SSD and a 1TB HDD. It all comes really well together for me. And I have been having a great time working on these applications on my laptop. It's evident we are going to need a good amount of standard power sockets, at least 5. And for that we have these 4 power extension cords with 4 sockets each. Now comes the interesting part, connecting 2 laptops with 3 screens. The way we'll do it is by also discussing some use cases. Let's first understand the input and output ports we have for our display. Most of the laptops these days have a standard HDMI and a Type-C output, while most of the monitors these days have a standard HDMI and a standard VGA as input. The first case, if you need to connect your single laptop with a single monitor, you can connect it using a standard HDMI cable for the best output. But if in case the monitor is old and has just one VGA input, we have the first type of converter which we are going to use, that is HDMI to VGA converter. Works just as the name states. So you can use this converter and a VGA cable to connect your older monitors to the laptops. The second case, if you need to connect 2 different monitors with a single laptop, you can again use the same standard HDMI cable to connect the laptop's HDMI output to one monitor's HDMI input. For the second monitor, you can use the second type of converter, a Type-C to HDMI converter. The one we have has a VGA output as well, but you gotta make a note here. These 2 display outputs, that is the HDMI and the VGA, if used together, it doesn't extend the display to 2 different monitors. It just duplicates the display. You will see the same video in both the displays. Coming back to the point, you can utilize the Type-C display port on your laptop using this method and using it together with the standard HDMI cable. That essentially grants you 2 different displays, that is a dedicated extended workspace. Ours is a third use case. If you have 2 different laptops for the 2 different parts of your life, how do you connect 2 different laptops with 2 different monitors? So we don't have to keep plugging in and plugging out the display cables. The way I do it is, for laptop 1, I use both of the converters, that is the HDMI to VGA and the Type-C to HDMI or VGA output. So this way we have 2 different VGA outputs, which go into the 2 VGA inputs of both our monitors using standard VGA cables. The only reason I'm using VGA interfaces for connecting our laptop 1, it's because I'm reserving the HDMI ports for my personal laptop. For laptop 2, that is our personal workstation, I connect monitor 1 with the standard HDMI cable, and for monitor 2, I use the Type-C to HDMI converter. So in this way, you can connect two different laptops with two different monitors for a fully functional extended workspace. Coming to the TV here, we technically still have one VGA output available. Connecting a 4K TV with a VGA cable absolutely doesn't make sense. I don't wish to use TV as my third monitor here. So what I do is I use this HDMI switch. This takes in one HDMI input and gives out two HDMI outputs with a switch between them. So now I introduce this switch in the standard HDMI output. The first HDMI output goes to the monitor and the second one goes to the TV. This gives us an option to switch between the monitor and the TV as the primary display. So for my regular work, I use these two monitors, and for watching some movies or gaming, all I need to do is just switch. You can of course use the display management utility in Windows to manage these displays. You can connect and disconnect your displays depending on your workflow and your preferences. And we are done connecting the displays. We have a pretty standard USB hub here. Nothing fancy but absolutely functional. This gives me the option to connect the mic, the external HDD, phone, the receiver dongles for the keyboard and mouse we have here. We also have this laptop cooling pad sitting below our workstation. Useful during the CPU and GPU intensive task. And let's take a short moment to talk about HDMI cables. Always make sure you are buying HDMI cables of standard 2.0B and above. That brings us to the ending of this video. I've tried a couple of new things with this one. So please let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video and if you would like to see more of such content. Looking forward to hearing from you. Till we meet again in the next one. Cheers.